of allegiance. Would you stand? Mr. Coster, please.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Section 2 is our presentation. Item A, recognize or hear from visitors. There are none. Item B would be our treasurer's report.
Let's see here. I'll be kind of brief on this. Again, we're still, so as we approach the end of the fiscal year, kind of getting things solidified on how we're going to end up this year and kind of what we're doing going into next year. So just be kind of, if you look on kind of the percentage in the packet, or that part right there. So for under general fund, we had a little over $4 million coming into the month of May. Deposited in $845,000, which is state aid and local money and some federal money. And then the expenditure out of that was $2.7 million, so we ended the month with 2.1. The reason that number is so high is we do 3 months of payroll did 3 months of payroll in the month of May, right? So that's why that number is so high on the expenditure amount on that. Building fund started with $475,000, took in $2,500, spent $86,000. That's on mostly salaries for our operations people. Ended with $390,000. Sinking fund had $3.1 million, took in $9,000, spent, made a payment out of that of $21,000, ended with a little over $3.1 million. And activity fund, you can see $333,000 started, took in $76,000, spent $132,000, ended at $277,000. By the end of this month, by the end of this week, we should have in almost all of our federal. We'll still do some federal claims. Our state money will come in this week, and we'll have a very small amount of local and county money that comes in. So we'll know where we end, how we'll end up fiscally this year by the end of this week. We're projecting right now probably increasing our carryover. I don't know. I'm hoping about $180,000, but I think I'm hoping it's that much, which will really even us out really well for next year. So, adding some positions and such.
The benefit of a big carryover when one keeps us from having to
go into non-payables.
Right.
Yes. So, so our goal, I think what we carried over going into this year was $1.6 million, which really is a pretty good amount for us. And like I said, that increase of about $150,000 to $180,000 will account for, because we've added the assistant principal type at the upper elementary, added an English teacher, adding a special ed teacher at the middle school. So to account for that, and we'll talk about like our insurance costs and this and that. So we'll have some additional expenditures this next year. We don't know yet exactly where we'll come in on state aid coming into this year. They've talked about there being an increase. I'll know more by the end of this week on that, where we're going to end up on our state aid for next year. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of an increase. But so it's been difficult. I guess it's kind of because we have this conversation real quick. So over the past 5 years, school finance has been really difficult because you have all that ESSER money that comes in, right? And so it's hard to track, when you're talking about a $14, $15, $16 million budget, it's hard to track, as I've kind of stepped into it, where everything is going and coming from. Because we spent a lot of money, but a lot of that was spent on air conditioning units and curriculum and this and that. And so now that kind of all that's in the past, this year was a really normal year as far as finance, as far as school finance. And so it really provides a really good baseline. So over the next couple of years, I'll anticipate that our carryover will kind of go up and down a little bit as we kind of even things out. And then we'll be at a good place. We'll have everything kind of solidified as to where we need to be and kind of have all our personnel in place and have everything go
sometimes it's a question, why we carry so much money over. But
Yeah, for sure. So, and I put together a spreadsheet and sent that out to all of our teachers, kind of showing, like, here's the amount of money that comes in between July 1 and I think it's November. And there's about $1 million deficit by the time we get to November on the money that comes in versus what we have to spend for all of our stuff. And so we have to keep that money in the bank. Otherwise, we go on non-payables. If we go on non-payables, that costs us more money. I think we ended up paying, it's like $30,000 or something ridiculous last time we went on non-payables. And so that's just wasting money. So if we keep about the 1.6, 1.7 million somewhere in there as a carryover, then that's right where we need to be.
is that roughly 10%?
Yeah, a little bit less, but yeah, about that. Or a little bit more. I guess we have about $15 million budget.
Yeah.
Which we could probably do, we could probably function at at a 10% carryover, but there's just not much wiggle room.
I sleep better at night, knowing that number's good.
Yes.
Because I think there's been years gone where we didn't carry that much money over.
Yeah,
It was 2 years ago, what the state was doing and what locally was happening. TSO,
Any other questions about the item C, our director's report, safety and security technology.
It's you, Mr. Fisher.
Okay, here it comes.
Brace ourselves.
Yeah. So, thinking I was thinking about it. What's been 3 weeks now since school's out? Or is this our fourth week? Third week? Fourth week? Third week? This is 3 weeks, right? We've done a lot of stuff in 3 weeks, surprisingly. So, one of the things that we've been doing is, I don't know if you've been to the upper, but if you go to the upper, you can't get in the door anymore. It's like before you go in the first set of doors, and then you were kind of in that little cubby area. You can't do that anymore. So there's like an intercom out there, and it has a camera, and so when you hit the button, it calls the office, and they can see you, you talk to them, and then they decide whether they want to let you in or not. So that's going to happen in every building. So that's one of the things we're doing. We're changing out all the door readers and door controllers. I think right now we have 37 doors, exterior doors that are controlled by them. I bought 41 sets right now. We're going to add some more, but ideally we'd like to have every door with a reader on it, so that way we can kind of go keyless, right, except for certain people. So that way we can track who's going in and out of that door. Another thing we've done is we added some cameras in some certain spots, and one of the things we can do with these new door controllers is I can put a camera that ties into the hub itself, and when you scan your badge, it tells you whose card it is. It takes a picture or video of them for 5 seconds before or 5 seconds after they swipe the reader, so it tracks all that. So that's one of the things we did, and we're going to put those on, like I said, on all the exteriors, so you won't be able to get, like high school, you won't be able to go through that front door. You'll have to get entry through the video feed before you can get inside the next set of doors. We've got some doors that we need to replace because some doors are really old, and they're very expensive. And the hardware is very expensive. There's some hardware that we need to change out, and so that'll probably be in the next, starting in July. I think we get our next round of safety and security money from the state, so it's probably a lot of it will probably go towards hardware and doors. So another thing we did, and this is just not really safety and security, but we've already, when they moved all the second grade to the upper, we basically redone those wings where they moved down to, and we pulled brand new fiber down there, put brand new switches in, put a drop in every single room down there, so that they'll all be ready to go. That's just one of the things we've done. So yeah, we've done a lot of stuff in 3 weeks, so it's actually quite impressive. But got an army of youngsters running around.
Hands back together.
Yeah, tearing out ceiling tiles and going crazy. So that's where we're at. Any questions?
Just thinking about as far as redoing the doors, the entrance and so forth like that. What about after hours when there's issues that develop in the way of having to have someone from outside the district or within the district, a service meet and so forth, and having someone available to be able to allow them the access and so on and so forth like that. What's the plan in place for that type of thing after hours in order that, in the event that there's some reason, whether it be something in the way of issues of plumbing or heating or whatever and things, and then the person who is making this call might not have that authorization or whatever to sometimes handle certain doors or entryways. So I'm just curious about how we...
There's a couple of options. So if it's a planned event, or I guess if it's a planned event, we can issue them guest access cards. There's also another option. They can get guest access to their phone, so we can assign a PIN number to them, or I can unlock any of the doors from my phone at my house. So, I mean, it's basically, I can control it. There's like 5 or 6 different ways that we can open a door remotely. But yeah, so there's guest access, guest cards, guest pins, there's all kinds of ways that we can do it.
The benefit is that just like with our youth groups coming in to use the gym and stuff, is we can issue them a card that if it gets lost, we're going to shut it off.
Yeah.
As opposed to if someone loses a key, then you've got to change out all the locks. So that's one of the huge benefits. Outside of that, all of our admin, all of our maintenance, all of our operations keys or people have access to all the doors. So if there was a plumbing issue or someone needed access, anybody in the operations department or admin department can access any building.
without having electrical.
Yes. So the keys still exist, right? And the way the doors are set is if the power goes out, they go fail secure, so they lock, right? Unless there are a couple of doors that we have that are electromagnetic, right? So like the door to the office, to the high school office, the door that goes into the upper from the foyer area in, if the power goes off on those doors, they automatically unlock.
But they're inside an already locked door.
Yes.
They're inside.
Yes.
It's not an external door.
Correct.
Right.
So, but that is an issue that if you had people in the building for whatever reason during the daytime and the power were to go out, those doors automatically release because they have to have power to be locked. So the power goes off, they immediately unlock.
But they can still egress.
Yes,
So they're not locked.
they can always egress, but they unlock so somebody could go through it either direction.
Who else has capacity? Like if you're out of pocket, somebody else on their phone, like is that something Brady has, or Dana, does she have that, or is that just you? That
No, Dana has it. You might have it, I'm not sure, but you probably don't know that you have it. But you probably,
How does it even if he does?
Send me the email.
right.
It might take a minute, we'll get there.
But yeah, and it's not all fleshed out yet. We have two systems. We have the old system, and we're bringing on this new.
So basically everything will be integrated.
Yes, and you won't even. Matter of fact, the cards are very expensive. Those cards are like $7 a piece, right? So if you lose one, if it's a teacher or admin, you can open the door with your phone. So all you need is the app. So you don't even really need a card at that point. But it's not all built out yet. But eventually it will be there, and so you can just walk up to the door here or your iPhone.
And if all else, everybody still does have keys.
Yes.
Okay, so I can, like these doors out here, I can get in either with my key or my card. Either one I can get in. So if power goes out, and my card's not working, I can just pop it in.
But we don't check keys out to a guest organization or plumber or anything like that.
I don't think so.
Right.
Unless,
Well, I don't know about in the past, but
From
going forward, I would assume that and more than likely, one of the things we need to start thinking about and looking at is rekeying all the doors anyway. Because the keys that we've had in existence for however many years now are out of patent, and you can go to Lowe's and you can get a copy. The blanks are there. And some of the new systems, the degree systems and stuff that Asa Alloy has out now are patented. You can't go just get the blank. So it's probably something we should
How's the
look at.
internet safety security thing? I know, what, 2 years ago, we had a big hike. How is that? How's the staff been? How's everybody been playing by the rules? And you feel like things are safer on the internet side of things?
People trying to hack our system.
Yeah, I mean, when we turn on two-factor, that really cut down like, yeah. I mean, the students still get, I get emails all the time of a student account that has suspicious activity, or Google shuts their account off, or, somebody's hacked their password or whatever, but they don't have access to anything really, so it's kind of irrelevant. But as far as staff, since we turned on two-factor, I don't think I've had a single email since we've done that about somebody's staff account getting hacked into. And I get them from other school districts all the time that haven't turned it on, but, so yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of line of complaining about it, but I think at this point, success proves very worth it.
Well, it's not really, it's a little inconvenient, but it's not, you only have to do it once if you're on the same machine.
Right.
Unless you switch machines. I have to do it more than anybody because I switch machines all the time, so I have to carry my phone, otherwise I can't get into that. Yeah.
You did a great job, Dave.
Thank you.
You guys have any questions for him?
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Your text is very good.
See you later.
All right, now, do we have any principals?
We have no building administration.
Item E is assistant superintendent's report.
So, I know we've been talking a lot about back-to-school professional development. I'm very happy to tell you that we have that completely planned at this point in time. So, secondary sites we've talked about were a little bit trickier to find someone to present. They had a very specific thing in mind based off what their staff had said, which I think is awesome. We've been able to find/create something to meet the needs that the principals have shared. So Dr. Barbara Sorrells, who is kind of an expert in child development, specifically early childhood, elementary child development, will be coming to present to both elementary staffs. She's going to do one very specific to early childhood for the lower elementary, and more of that later childhood, pre-teen development for the upper elementary. Dr. Chris Culver, who works at Western Heights, will be coming to present to our middle school staff on adolescent behavior, adolescent development. Ms. Dixon heard of him, got his name from a colleague, has done some investigating into what he presents. He's very interested in having him coming, so he's going to be presenting to middle school. Mr. Hope had something pretty specific in mind for his staff who wanted some professional development in the world of instructional engagement. Really focused on getting high schoolers engaged in their own learning, using visual aids. Based on the feedback that they had given him, a very difficult time finding specifically what he wanted. So he and Mrs. Noble have met, they've had a discussion. She's going to provide that training for our high school teachers, specific to what they are wanting to learn about. So they're going to be working on that as the summer goes through. She's going to present to them. So we are all booked up for professional development. We're very happy about that. We're also doing some professional development for our administrators, which we don't talk about that a lot, but I think it's also equally important. So we have 9 people from our administrative team who's going to the Coastal Summer Leadership Conference. Some of us are leaving Wednesday morning really, really early. Some are leaving a little bit later in the day on Wednesday. We'll be there for the rest of this week. We have several people who have signed up to go to the Inspire Oklahoma Conference, which is later in July. It used to be called Engage Oklahoma. It's called Inspire Oklahoma now, which will be great. I'm sure it'll be the first year we've gone to that. That'll be good. And the State Department is providing some administrator-specific professional development later in the month of July, really focused on federal programs, special education, English language learners, a lot of those things, and instructional coaching. So we have 5 of our administrators who are going to that as well. That's just what we're kind of providing for them, but I know Mrs. Bell is working on some early childhood professional development for herself. We've got a lot of people doing a lot of different things over the summer, so that's really good. Questions about professional development? Federal programs, Dr. Wilkins mentioned, we are getting those all closed out. Today, the button was supposed to go live for us to begin the close-out process for all of our federal programs. It wasn't working quite today, which wasn't necessarily a surprise. We have quite some time to get that completed. I talked to Wayne Bean, who helps us with that, last week. He said that it's typically not due till September, so we've got some time. He's going to help me with that since I've never gone through that process. We're going to do it together. I'm just making sure that we get done correctly, that we know exactly how much money we can expect to carry over in all of our federal programs, which we have shut pretty much all of them down. We've expended almost every dollar that we were given, with the exception of the safety and security money, because we wanted to keep a little bit of that to address some of what Rick has just talked about. Doors, if we choose to rekey our doors, that's going to be very costly. Obviously, with a lot of doors around here that would have to be done for. So we're probably going to carry, I'm going to estimate about $15,000 of the $92,000 that we were given for this year over to next year. So that should give us a little bit more to spend for next year to tackle some of these projects that might be a bit more expensive than some of what we've already done this year. And as far as teaching and learning, you'll be getting probably in July an updated teaching and learning plan, an updated literacy plan, all of the plans that you look over each month. What I will say is we're in the midst of some really great discussions about teaching and learning on our campus, which I've been here for many years now and been in administration for many years. And we've had a lot of discussions that have been good, but sometimes get a little stalled out. And I'm so excited that we are to a place now that we can start talking about what's really going on in classrooms, what our teachers really need from us as leadership, what our students need, so that we can move from surviving to thriving. On the academic side, we have so many really, really good things already going on here. I think the future's kind of, I don't want to say for us when it comes to the education that our kids are getting. So lots of conversations about that. We'll be talking more about that as we get a little further through the summer and we're able to nail down some things with our administrative team.
So with your new you got some new programs coming this year, right? Can we talk about
We have
that?
a new math curriculum.
Yes.
Yes, those are coming.
Are we working on that during the summertime with our teachers so they'll be ready for it when the new year starts?
Yes, so they actually got professional development before the school year was even out. They got to start on that in the spring. They have limited access to it right now. We've been talking to the book depositories to figure out exactly when will those books be on our campus. So far, the answer is kind of hurry up and wait. They don't know. They haven't received them at the book depositories, so as soon as they get them from the publisher, then we get them from them. And I can assure you, will be a thorn in their side until we find out, because we want those books. We were told we would have them over the summer if we want them, and that's kind of the conversation we had last week with them, actually. And then later on in the summer, there are some additional training opportunities for teachers if they want them. They're obviously not on contract, so if they want them, they get paid a little bit for doing them. If they don't, the same exact opportunities will be offered pretty quickly in the school year for them.
So when the books come in, as a teacher, will they be able to access them and get them and go through them and kind of familiarize them?
Yes,
Something?
our goal is pretty much immediately when they get here, we inventory them and they get delivered to classrooms. So that way, all the teacher materials are there, the student workbooks are there, we can mark that off our list because it's already done, and they can have access just as quickly as we can get it to them. Our goal is they don't need to be stored. They need to get here and get to classrooms. And usually we can wrangle some football players or kids from summer pride or something to help us with all
So
that.
you'll know when they can access them, so they can't get back and say, well, there wasn't much back or nothing like that. So we'll have a way to say, well, yeah, they were there a month
Yeah.
ago. There's no reason why. So we'll have a way to prove that we.
Yes, yeah, we will be delivering this. And we're hopeful that it will just be in the next few weeks, maybe. And we were promised that it would be here before the end of the school year by one of the publishers. Kind of didn't really expect that to happen, to be honest with you. That's sort of what they always say, but hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later.
I'm excited because that's been our biggest problem here at Oologah, our math program. Our math program has not been that great, so I'm excited for this year.
We're really excited. And again, these are the curriculums that the teachers chose. So a lot of them have already spent quite a bit of time looking into them when we were in that choosing process. So I think that we're already starting about quite a bit ahead. As a matter of fact, we kind of get, whenever we ask questions of the publishers, the representatives, it's sort of like, why are you guys asking us this question already? We're like, we want to be ahead. We want to be ahead of everybody else who's going to be asking these questions in August. We want to already be ready to go.
I don't know if it's your student handbook, is that on
track to be in July.
I've got a list of all of the stuff we'll have.
Whole lot of
We're a little behind. Awesome. Good questions? Skinner? Thank you, ma'am.
Do you want to talk about Title IX?
Title IX.
Title IX. Same position with Title IX as we've been the past few months. Of course, there's lots of talk about Title IX and very few concrete answers. There are several sessions being offered at the COSTA conference we're going to regarding Title IX, including one from our school attorney, John Priddy, is presenting a session, so we will be attending that. I anticipate it will be a lot of the same that we've already heard, which is this is what they say. No one knows what's really going to happen. I have begun the process of updating our Title IX plan. I'm finding that a little bit cumbersome, if I can be honest with you, because I don't know what to put in it. So I'm hoping after this week, and we get some more, hopefully, concrete information, we can get more to work on that. Either way, I will be getting our Title IX committee together in July, even if it's just to update everyone about this is what they say. We don't really know what it looks like for us, just to make sure everybody's kind of on the same page. It would be great if I could bring that Title IX plan to you in July, but that one could be in August, just because, again, we don't really know. August 1st is the make or break date as of now for Title IX, but I, as well as most everyone I think that you would ask, fully anticipate that to change at some point in time. So, of course, whatever we're advised to do, whatever information we get from the State Department, from our legal people, we will be fully compliant. It's just we don't really know what that is as of right now.
Because they don't know.
Because they don't know what it is. as of right
I
now.
think there's lawsuits coming.
I think I mentioned to you, Brandon Carey said that he fully expects like 11:59 on July 31st, there'll be some sort of an injunction that's filed and it will stop it from happening on August 1st. So
It's frustrating for you guys if that's part of your job description to do that and do I go forward or not?
it is. It's kind of, it's sort of living in two worlds. Like we're preparing to change nothing and preparing to change everything at the same time. So, but we'll figure it out. Luckily, we have great, amazing people that we can call to ask for advice.
Has the State Department said anything out to you guys or have they been kind of quiet on it?
They've said almost nothing.
Right. Everything's from either RFR or SSPA.
Right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Item G is superintendent's report.
So, I'll be quick. So, finances, I kind of talked about that a while ago. I'll get a lot more information next time we have a meeting. Summer project. So, we didn't know how long it would take. We had to move second grade, all the second grade classrooms from the lower to the upper. But with that move, we moved almost every classroom at the upper elementary and then rearranged almost all the classrooms at the lower elementary. All of that was done like a week ago. Like our summer staff has been phenomenal. They've just been absolutely amazing. So everything is moved. They've painted most, I think, of the lower elementary that they were going to do. I think they're still finalizing things, but that always all spackled up, and they were painting that last week. And same thing at the upper. Their tech has been in, just tearing everything up, running new fiber everywhere. They've got all the classrooms moved where they need to be, have all the stuff kind of set in the middle so they can go in and paint the walls and do. We had a list of each classroom what needed to be done. Some needed to be painted, some needed a hole fixed in the wall, some needed new whiteboards, whatever. So we're kind of working our way through that list to get that done. It's just really crazy because they're almost done. I mean, it's just, and I figured we'd get all summer deal, but they've really gotten after it. So that's been exciting.
Who's pushing that? Who's driving that train?
So that's been Brady kind of through Dwight, and Dwight's, we hired a couple of summer kids, it's maybe 4 of them, I think, that have just, and then our janitors have just absolutely gotten after it every single day. And then we had hired Nick Villalobos, I think is his name, as a maintenance guy a while back, and he's been phenomenal also. They've got, so the library, we're setting up a library at the middle school, all the shelves are in and out. They've repainted that whole room, as you call one of the old shelves, it's called shelves out, repainted it, they're all back in. It's just, it looks really good. And they got all these shelving units in that had no instructions, so they had to just figure out how to put them all together. It's these like snap together, screw together things. So
IKEA stuff.
yeah, like good luck. So they figured it out, got it all in, and it looks really good. So things have been moving way faster than what we thought. Kind of Dwight's crew has done so much stuff that our maintenance guys have been able to do maintenance stuff, right? So Cole hasn't had to be painting and moving stuff. He's out fixing air conditioners and doing that kind of stuff. So again, that's just kind of the benefit of having that group, that whole operation team that's working as a team now, and just getting stuff done. So it's been really good. And that's it.
You guys have any questions? All right, section 3 will be our consent agenda. These items may be approved by one motion unless any board member desires to accept or vote on any or all of these items. Item A, discussion and consideration. The approval of the minutes and regular board meetings on April 8th, 2024 and May 13th, 2024. Item B, discussion and consideration for the approval of the following warrants and encumbrances. General fund encumbrances 411 through 439. General fund warrants 3251 through 4129. Sinking fund encumbrances 3 and sinking fund warrant 2. Building fund warrants 566 through 616. Item C is discussion and consideration for approval of financial reports. General fund, building bond funds, and activity funds. Item D is discussion and consideration for approval of the following activity fund transfer in 9103. Item E is discussion and consideration for approval of the following out-of-state or overnight field trips, OMS and OHS TSA National Conference, Orlando, Florida, June 25th through July 1st. Dr. Wilkes, is there anything you'd like to address?
I think on that April 8th, I think the piece, we had one little thing Lyle brought to our attention that was out of order on the 4th page. Mr. Blakely had to, he didn't have to, but he conscientious enough to abstain on the vote that had to do one of the fundraisers. And so we rearranged the order so the packet that is sitting outside of your bright yellow packet is the one that we will be approving for the minutes for the April 8th meeting. Does that make sense?
The only thing that was changed was order, correct?
Those two orders, yes. There was nothing, we switched this piece with this piece.
Anything else you want? That's there.
No, she said that was pretty. That was last month.
I was like, wait.
I was afraid. I was glad she
She
went
went to vote to approve herself.
When I come up to that, I was glad she wasn't here because I thought she might throw something at me.
Oh, we put her down there. All right, is there any item that a board member would like to vote on separately?
I do have a question. On the National TSA Conference, is that set cost, student cost, is that 700 a piece or 700? I was thinking you could.
That's probably for the group, I'm assuming. I don't know, honestly. I can't imagine that's per student.
Yeah, that's minimum per student. I think that's per student.
Wow.
Because it's airfare for each student, right? I don't know.
Okay, I see.
They're flying in like
My kids go to Washington now.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's per student, just from knowing someone on.
Oh, yeah, so, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that they were flying. That probably is it.
We're not taking the charter.
Yeah. No, they've been doing a lot of fundraisers.
We approved that whole list last month, but, oh, sorry, you're talking specifically about. Any other questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion on section 3 of the consent agenda.
Make a motion that we approve A through E as stated with the exception of our minutes for April 8th, our government
Second.
Discussion? Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Consent agenda has been approved. Section 4, administrative. Recommendation, item A, recommendation, consideration, and action on approving activity fund sub-account, number 919, middle school special education.
So, yeah, a sub-account for middle school special ed. I'm assuming we'll do fundraising, I'm assuming like for Special Olympics, do some things like that, so this kind of gives them, because we haven't had,
It was 919 basically, that you used your,
yes, correct, it was,
it was a great cheer.
yeah.
Entertained motion on item A.
Move to approve item A on section 4 administrative.
Second motion.
Discussion? Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Item A is approved. Item B, recognition, consideration, and action on approving policy regarding the use of personal electronic devices, cell phones at each school site.
So we presented this last month. We met again about it, had some discussion, and on this paper, I think the paper we had last month, I don't think had the elementary policies on it. Basically, what they've done at the elementaries is they pulled out what's been in the handbook and just put it so that we have all of our sites listed. I think kind of to summarize, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that basically the elementaries, if they have an electronic device, it's to be turned off and in their bag all day, the time they show up to the time they leave. Middle school, if they have a device, they can use it. If they get to school at 7:30, they can use it. If they're sitting in the gym until 7:55, once the bell rings, the phone has to be put in their locker where it stays until the end of the day. And then at the high school, you're not allowed to have them out or use them at all during class times, but they are allowed at lunch and in passing periods. It'll be interesting to see how the high school piece works. We've had a lot of discussion about it, with teachers about it, we've talked about it, Mr. Hogue and with Mr. Doss. They feel like that this will suffice for what they need at the high school. Because they've had problems, but they feel like that it's not as great as what has happened at the middle school. The middle school kids, they just can't regulate, right? So they're so impulsive. Generally speaking. Whereas the high school kids, I think, have a little better understanding of some boundaries. So we'll see how this works. We may tweak it if we need to as we move along, but this is what we're presenting.
This is what they want me.
So, yes.
I hate to be that guy. Under high school, second sentence, there needs a space between there and Nope.
Just needs to be a space.
Just need a space between their
I have fixed that already.
Oh, look at you, girl. In the high school, what if a teacher allowed their students to do research on their phone?
So that's going to be a question for Mr. Hogue. I'll be honest, in my opinion, they all have Chromebooks. They should use the Chromebooks. If you're going to do research, if we're going to stick true to what they're intending, then that's going to be what happens. We issue every kid a Chromebook. They have Wi-Fi.
He knows. I mean, you're going to have teachers that score it, and you have other teachers that don't ask them to. So it really is on the administration, all the teachers go.
Yes. That's why when we had this conversation, I said, I will not put together a policy on this. This has got to come from, because the teacher's the one that's going to enforce it in the classroom. The principals are going to be the one that has to deal with the parents and that has to deal with the kids and the teachers and the whole situation. So if they want to bring something to us, then fine, we'll bring it. I'll bring it to you guys to prove. If you guys are, if it's what you guys feel goes in the direction we want to go. But I'm not the one that's going to be in the classroom. I'm not the one that's going to be holding the teacher accountable.
teachers, are you going to let them know at the beginning of the year that, hey, this is the new policy, we're going to follow this?
This policy we will start sending this policy out to teachers, parents, and students probably beginning tomorrow, right? If not, at the latest next week. Our plan is to kind of put together a graphic that just kind of has like here's the general rules, and just start blasting that out. Because so I told our admin team, is like, listen, if you guys are going to do this, fight those battles this summer, right? So make everybody give all the information so mama can call up and say, hey, well, what happens when this happens, or what about this, or what about this? And we can deal with that during the summer, not when we're in the heat of the moment and you've got 100,000 trying to start school. Right. So the plan is to just absolutely send this out as much as we can and get the information.
We've been building to this though, because we've kind of cracked down. We're not the only district doing this.
No,
by any means.
no. So I know of, right offhand, 5 or 6 around doing the same thing.
So when you say that it'd be picked up from the administration, that would mainly be site principals?
Yes. Yes.
Will students be presented this anywhere other than the student handbook?
I'm sure, so Mr. Hogue, like at the high school, well, this is really no change for the elementaries, right? So this is kind of the same for the elementaries. For the middle school, high school, they do a class meeting at the first couple of days of school, and all of this will be presented at that one.
Devil's advocate here. Why are we just not going no phones at the lower?
So,
Or no devices at the lower?
because if you put one in your kid's backpack for your kid to have when they get home off the bus, then we're not going to go dig through that kid's backpack every day.
Okay.
So the idea is that basically, I think that the response to that is that's kind of where we are, without saying that, in that if a kid has it out or is using it for any reason, then it's going to be a discipline issue.
The intent of it really is kind of no phones, right? Because if they've got it, it's in their bag, you don't see it. Maybe the better way of saying that is there's no visible phones. Like if they come out, then that's a problem. But we do have some parents that they send in for the bus or they send in for, whatever. They track their kids when they're running back and forth from school or whatever. As long as we don't see it at the elementary level, whatever. But if it comes out, and it's not just phones, it's your AirPods, it's your tablet, it's your Nintendo Switch, it's whatever it is. The elementaries, if it comes out, then there's a problem.
I mean,
I'm just looking at the age, that's the only reason I'm asking.
I think it's a good starting point too, because if this don't work, there's still another law, right?
And obviously, if we run into an issue either direction, then we adjust that. But I feel like this is a great starting point.
And we looked at several schools around that already have, or either enacting a policy like this or already have one, and that runs the gambit, right? We've got some districts in this area that it's very lenient, and we've got some districts in our area that it is very hardcore. We felt like a little moderation might be best just to start. So ours kind of sits somewhere there in the middle. It's like that gradual release as they get a little bit older and should be able to handle technology more appropriately. We're giving them that opportunity. Of course, understanding that anybody that uses it inappropriately, the handbook covers that, right? And our discipline matrix covers that. So no matter what.
Yeah, so if you have a high school kid that's using it inappropriately during lunchtime, then obviously they lose that. And on that second, if you guys will turn that page over, if we haven't already, from the policy, we did a frequently asked questions. Again, this is just kind of looking through, first of all, us knowing what questions we're going to get asked, and then secondly, looking through what other schools have enacted and what questions that they've put out and what questions that have been discussed. Just kind of putting together kind of a list of things that we think will get asked, so that way that can get answered. So, which this information will also get sent out.
Any kind of press release or anything like that? I mean, how many know if this type of stuff is news now because so many districts have gone to it? A year ago, it would have been.
Right. I think, so I thought about it. I'll see, there's a lot of times I'll talk with the late dinner guy after our board meetings. He'll look over our agenda and see if there's absolutely may send this to Jim.
Especially the answer question thing, because that'll answer, if you put that in the newspaper and say, here's the rules, here's the question and answers, I mean, we still have some people that will still ask the question anyway, they won't read the whole thing, but I mean, at least the majority of the people here would get the idea, okay, here's the rules, here's some question and answers, if you have any more, call. I mean, I think that'd be good.
Our idea is, if it's approved, once it's approved, that we would get it loaded to the website, get it sent out that way so they can see the full document, like here is everything, here's the policy, here's the frequently asked questions and everything. And then maybe once a week from now, which when school starts, like, hey, here's something else about phone policy. And maybe using these FAQs to sort of guide that. Here's a couple of questions you've been asked here. So it's, you can get all the information at once if that's what you want, or if you need it in little chunks, you can get it that way too. And it's like a constant dialogue ongoing all summer long for people, so that by the time that we get here in August, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, and they will have had plenty of time to ask all their questions. Hopefully.
But again, each one of these come from the site administration.
Yes.
Each one of these different
Policies.
So they're recommending them, but let's not lose sight of this is us.
Right.
This is us approving this. We're the ones that thumb it up or thumb it down. And I'm not so sure that we don't put somewhere on that approved by the Oologah-Talala Board of Education. I mean, this is part of the role that we get to be.
Well, I don't mind, right? I mean, I don't mind putting our name on it at all. I just feel better because the people that's going to have to enforce it are the ones that know that.
Right, and I don't want to create a policy that's not good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's been a very great process that they brought to you guys, and here we are. But like, we're the ones signing it, so.
Yeah, we met, they had a meeting, I think it was over the discipline matrix, and that question came up, and that's why I told them, like, guys, this is not something that I will do. Like, if this is something you guys want, I mean, we'll help you do the work on it, but I'm not the one that's going to be in the trenches dealing with it. So
But then it started popping, other school districts started doing it. It's about the same time, prior to Perkins, Claremore, or.
yeah, so Claremore has, Adair, Briar, and then we called several of them, checked with several others that have, they've got, Catoosa, ads, so there's quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great conversation with the newspaper if you would, because I don't know that your TV stations pick it up, because it's old news now, because many people have done it, that the local guy can help us to present.
Yeah.
I think it's a great start. I mean, like I said, we can change it as the year goes on. Hey, this is not strong enough. We need to put more strong wordage in it.
And I don't know, just looking at other schools that have done this, they really have been kind of positive feedback from parents, I feel like. I wouldn't be surprised if someone showed up to complain, but if they did, then, okay, that's it.
Where are you going to go? Nobody else does it too.
You're always going to have that one though.
Yeah.
But how many issues have made it to us that were involved use of substance? Opinion.
If not, I'll call them like, hey, can you do that with my kids?
Golf complaint. It's a joke.
I would entertain a motion on item B.
I make a motion that we approve the policy regarding the use of personal electronic devices and cell phones at each school site.
Is there discussion? Yeah. Last opportunity, because I don't think this will be a big thing, but it'll be public. So you guys have an opportunity. All right, hearing none, vote please. Yes.
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 Item B has been approved. Item C is recommendation, consideration, and action on approving the letter of intent between the Oologah-Talala Schools and Triumph Architecture.
So I presented this last month. If you'll notice, it says it's a non-binding letter. Technically, this really doesn't need to go to the board because there's no financial obligation. There's no obligation in dealing with this, but just with transparency and just for the sake of communication. I did want to bring this to you guys. Like I said, I had met with Scott Bergman. You'll see the name here at the bottom. He is the Triumph architect. Has some great ideas, some great thoughts. He's already presented some stuff to us, some kind of some ideas of as we move forward with our bond issue. And so so this kind of just says that, hey, we'll work with you until we try to run a bond issue, and then at that point, then we have the option of hiring them as the architect or not. But basically, they'll do a lot of work for us for free leading up to that. So I've worked with them in the past. I think Brent's met with them before. It's a great firm. They have great ideas, and they're not they don't overdo it. I've seen some architects that kind of overdo it. So they're a good balance. So my recommendation is
He's very creative in what he has, and so they kind of specialize. At least when we talked with him several years ago, worship centers and education space, kind of that gathering space is kind of his sweet spot. And I was highly impressed with him.
The question I have, so that's about $2 million is their cost out of a $32 million bond. Is the $2 million in that 32, or is it outside of that?
So the 32 million will be the total amount, right? So with that, there's going to be architect fees, engineering fees, there's going to be all kinds of fees. But and the 32 million comes from our financial advisors that kind of they'll work with us in our bonding capacity.
But this cost, it will be part of the 32.
Yes.
Okay. And then it said, what is the standard AIB B101 contract? It says it's annual tax.
So yes, I've got that in my office. You can look at it. So that would be, it's an architect contract, and it's about that thick, which is why I didn't make copies of it. Yeah, it is. So it's just, that's what we would, if you want to read it.
No, it takes me 3 days just to do it.
So but obviously, if we get to a point where we're going to approve the contract, I will bring that contract.
And this is not a contract.
This is not a contract. This is just basically me saying, hey, let's do some work together and start planning.
But you're still asking us to approve this?
Yes.
And then at the time, should it develop, that we pursue the building something, that we would be open to whomever architect might seem to be the best fit for us. for
Yes.
that project.
So for guys like this, they're taking a risk, right? So this is a non-binding letter of intent. So he is basically going to do a whole bunch of work for us, hoping that once we get to bond issue time, that we would hire their firm. But we don't have to. We can open it up. Whatever training we want.
You can get a pretty bad rep pretty quick doing that.
Do what?
You can get a pretty bad rep doing that pretty quick.
Good. But if they don't do a good job, I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't do a good job at it.
And I've worked with multiple with Scott with the offer call.
And that'll be a whole process. And you guys have been through it. So before we get to actually running a bond, there'll be a lot of work between now and then. But this gives us somebody to get, like, hey, how much would it cost to review the gym? And you can give us ideas.
All right. Entertaining motion on item C.
Move to approve item C in section 4, approving the letter of intent between OTPS and Tri-Arc Architecture. Second.
Discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Item C is approved. Item E, recommendation, consideration, action to rescind action taken on May 13th, 2024 board meeting to employ Brad Sides for 2024-2025 school year.
So last month we had, you guys had voted to approve Mr. Sides as the upper elementary assistant principal. Shortly after then, he was offered a position with Union Public Schools, and so he has kind of declined our offer. So I got a hold of OSSP attorney, how do we deal with that? And so this is what she recommended, is just to do a rescission of that job offer since there wasn't a contract signed.
Entertaining motion on item B.
I move that we rescind the action taken on the May 13th, 2024 board meeting to employ Brad Sides for the 2024 through 2025 school year.
Discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Item B is approved. Item E, recommendation, consideration, action on approving the Oologah-Talala School new teacher induction program beginning the 2024-2025 school year.
You have Ms. Noble here, if you guys have any questions questions about?
Yeah, I'm sorry to come in today. First off, it looks wonderful. Honestly, there's nothing better than a mentor and my first question was their checkoff list. And of course, as I got back, I seen the checklist. We have nothing in the beginning. We're starting from scratch here. Is that right? Do I understand that?
So we currently have, new teachers do have a mentor that they get, that's required by the state. But there's nothing guiding them, there's nothing really set in stone as to what those mentors do. So we are starting from a place where they already have a mentor. I mean, that's already something that's done. There's just no real guidelines as to what they have to do. So each teacher may be getting something a little bit different from their mentor. And of course, this year we kind of introduced instructional coaching into our new teacher support. This kind of, again, puts a better structure into place for that and kind of lets them know what to expect ahead of time as they come into their first year of Oologah.
The difference between a mentor and an instructional coach, I guess.
So a mentor teacher is someone who is in the classroom as well. So they're teaching in the classroom along with the new teacher. It may be in the same grade level or, at secondary, maybe even the same subject level. And so they're there really to help with the day-to-day things of the new teacher may need, whether that's lesson planning or how to contact parents, best practices. It's really, really day-to-day. The instructional coach will come in and do cycles with them to help them kind of set some goals for their instruction in the classroom and how they're engaging students. So we're going to be really student-focused goals so that they can really see that growth within their students and being successful as new teachers. So it's kind of a higher level of support, whereas the mentors are kind of the base level, the day-to-day. Instructional coaches will be kind of that next level up, but more of a big picture, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I'm not questioning any of that. I'm just wanting to know from you.
Yeah.
If somebody asks me, I don't want to be the dummy, see?
Yeah.
There will be anyhow. So are you the director? I mean, you're overseeing this. You're the one that's going to check on all the checklists.
Yes, and so right now I'm director and instructional coach. I wrote it so that in the future, the hope is that we can add instructional coaches as we go. And so then I'll kind of take a step back so we have some more instructional coaches to support those teachers.
Now, does a mentor have more than one mentee? Every new teacher going to have a different mentor?
So that's already come up actually because in third grade we have 2 new teachers. And so that's kind of come up. Mrs. Weeks was asked if she wanted to do both and she wasn't sure, but I think it's a good idea. It's an okay idea because then it's not like too much extra work. She can meet with them at the same time. We've talked about that actually, and she liked the idea of them getting to having 2 teachers under her, because then they also get to collaborate with each other as they're meeting with her. And so I told Mrs. Morrissey that as long as the mentor teacher is okay with that, because it's a little bit of an extra load, they'll still get a stipend for that other teacher as well. So.
He asked a question.
I got one.
Yeah.
Did you just say that you're the only instructional coach that we have? Or how many people are you over then? I mean, how many new teachers are we going to have coming in that you'll have to be over?
Right now, I know that there are 3 in the upper elementary right now. Obviously, we have a couple of positions that can open within the district that could add. But really best practice for an instructional coach, you can have up to 10 teachers on your caseload at a time. So
Different age group, like you can have lower elementary and you can have high school, and you're still the instructional for both or all.
Instructional coaches really are just there to support them in kind of getting a picture of what's happening in their classroom and then helping them set some goals as to how they want to grow with their students or as a teacher, and just kind of guiding them in that process. And so it's not like you have to be an expert at every level. You're just helping those teachers kind of set some goals, supporting them and helping them grow.
Well, they have a mentor as well, correct?
And then they have a mentor that really provides that grade level, content level.
So mentors one-on-one and more like the instructional just over the whole. Okay, thank you.
But an instructional coach, though, so her focus on working, if you're a new teacher, because when you're a new teacher, So she will do very hands-on specific, this is how you get better as a teacher, working with that person. I think that the difference is that she will be focused solely on the education piece with the mental piece, everything. Where's the copier? Where's that? How do I come out of this?
Sarah, we've had you in several things. What, just remind me, I apologize. So is this getting 100% of your attention, 50% of your attention, 30% of your attention?
My hope is this year that instructional coaching gets at least 60% of my attention. And really, I would love, my hope for this year is that instructional coaching can move out of just new teachers. I'd like to, kind of push in and see veteran teachers jump in so that it's really individual professional development for them. Honestly, is what instructional coaching is. So my hope is that I can have at least one veteran teacher in each building kind of willing to step in and dip their toes into doing instructional coaching and just letting it grow each year.
Yeah, well, she says 60%, we get to 50% over. So that's true. I have a note here, and you may have to help me. I made the statement, and I'm sorry, I can't find it. I said like somewhere you put working with parents. Is that somewhere in here? I'm sure it is, because I wrote it down.
It's on the very back. You said tips for working with parents on the very, very back page.
Yeah, there are some tips, there are some helpful kind of hints and things
Oh, is that what it is?
for them at the very back.
Right before the whole thing.
Oh, I knew I'd take it because I wrote it down. So then my question was then, what about missing or absent parents? I mean, from the teachers I know, those are the ones you really have problems with, is the absentee parents or the.
Right, and so that would be something that really the principal can help support them on and their mentor teacher, but that's my kind of multiple levels of support so that they're building relationships with a lot of different people in their building or in the district that can provide that kind of specific support at all different levels. So that might be something their principal would work with them on as to how to reach those parents or support that student without that parental support.
Well, the best statement that I like, I'm going to bring this out. It says, get to know the office staff, the custodial staff. They will be your best friends and willing to do anything for you as long as you acknowledge that they secretly run the building. I like that one the best. I like the back one the best.
So true. That's so true.
I would entertain a motion on item.
Make a motion that we approve the OTPS new teacher induction program beginning the 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
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 I think, not that I need to explain my yes, but I think this gives us a head, right, because recruiting good teachers, right? And so I may just as see the fruit of this 4 or 5 years from now, that colleges go, hey, go to Oologah, because they have an incredible program to help you in your first year. They have a great support system instead of just taking a new teacher and going to the fire. I'm really excited. I think 4 or 5 years from now, this will be time, energy, and resources well spent.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for your work on this.
Yeah, I just, like I say, I wasn't presenting it as a question, I just want to know.
This is an education issue. It's recruiting good teachers. I mean, when we're having positions where we have one applicant, we have to be able to.
And we may not have a new teacher that, from my thought, as a new teacher, you don't want to lose a new teacher because he or she is frustrated with what happened and didn't have help to figure it out.
This is getting moved on the headspace where I think we will really, it's that excellence and that creativity, and I appreciate you guys and your leadership. I really do. This is what's going to set us apart as being an education institution of excellence.
I want to say on behalf of Ms. Noble, I think she's the perfect person for this position because she's come into a position that's brand new. We haven't had this. And even in this first year, we have learned a lot. What she and I thought was going to be the best thing ever in August, by about October, we were like, oh, that's not going to work. I appreciate her flexibility and her focus on students and teachers to be willing to say, she put a lot of work into that. And sometimes that's really hard when you've really invested yourself in
Recommendation, consideration, action on approving a quote from OSAG for workers' compensation insurance for 2024-2025 school year.
I'm gonna look at kind of F, G, and H, if you guys don't mind, because they all kind of go together a little bit. So the Oklahoma School Insurance Group, on that first page right there, our workers' comp insurance, that quote is $45,375. Last year it was $42,105, so we've got about a $3,000, a little less increase, which is not abnormal for the Oklahoma School Insurance Group. The reason I want to put these three together is because they all come from Neely Insurance, and they all kind of run together. If you'll flip that page over where it says OSIG, Resolution of Oologah-Talala Public Schools to join. So to be part of the Oklahoma School Insurance Group, we have to have this resolution approved. And so to get our OSAG and OSIG insurance, we have to approve this piece. And then that next page, if we flip over. So as we met with Ryan Neely about our insurance, he called and he goes, hey, I got your quote. I'm going to come over and present it to you. It's not too bad of an increase. And I was like, oh, great. Well, apparently nowadays, $45,000 increase is not too bad. But if you look down at the bottom of that, there on the left, where it says from school year 2021, we were paying $236,000. This year we will pay $580,000 for our insurance. So really, when you're talking, that one year was $162,000 increase. 45,000 isn't too bad, but it's still a pretty substantial increase. But it's what it is. So it's on my list of stuff that we have to account for in our budget for next year. That's what it is. So again, those next three items on that list, we've got the OSAG insurance, the workers' comp insurance quotes of $45,000. The resolution is just so we can remember the school insurance group. And then our quote for our property and casualty is $580,460. And they're going to a mandatory $50,000 deductible on, I'm fairly certain it's mandatory.
Okay, so so it says 2023, 2024.
That was this year.
Okay, and so where's the quote for?
So it's right under, so look right up there, put your hand on there. Right? Yeah, right there.
Got it.
580, 460.
All right, let's take them item by item. Item F, we're going to entertain a motion on item F.
Make a motion to approve the quote from OSAG for workers' compensation insurance for the 24-25 school year.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Yes, non-audible.
Okay, so what that means is if we submit that we have 100 employees and we hire one extra person, so we have 101 employees, then they can't come back and say, well, you owe us an extra $5,000 for this extra employee. So when they say non-auditable, because I didn't know what that meant, when they say non-auditable, it's the number that we submit at the beginning of the year is what we're quoted on for the year.
So we can add more people than that.
So if we were to add, right, for this year, so if we were to add another employee or another janitor or something, then it doesn't negate the contract because we would change our. Now, obviously, I think, they may, it's not on.
You don't have 50% of your employees.
We only have 4. Anyway, yeah.
Any other discussion? Question? Hearing none, vote please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Item G is approved. No, item F, sorry. Item G is recommendation, consideration, action on approving a resolution to Oologah-Talala Public Schools to join the Oklahoma Schools Insurance Group for the 2024-2025 school year.
I would move that we approve the resolution for the Oologah-Talala Public Schools to join Oklahoma Schools Insurance Group for the 2024-2025 school year.
Second. Discussion. Vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Yes. Item G is approved. Item H, recommendation, consideration, action on approving a quote for Ely Insurance on property and casualty insurance for the 2023-2025 school year.
I would move that we approve the insurance quote from Neely OSIG in the amount of $580,416 for the insurance, property, and casualty 2024-2025 school year.
Second. Discussion. Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes? Yes. Item H is approved. All right, item I, board to consider and take action on a motion approving the renewal of the sublease agreement dated January 1, 2020 between the district and Rogers County Educational Facilities Authority for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 as required in the provisions of the agreement.
So this is for the bond issue that was passed before I got here. And so when you do a series bond, there has to be an educational trust or an educational, it's kind of a trust, it's an authority. So this is us agreeing to work with that authority to manage our, not manage, they're kind of a flow through for our bond issues. And so we have to approve this every year so that way we can continue to move that money for that, to pay that bond issue that we passed before.
Is that trust received by the board?
Yes. So it is a,
By Rogers County or is it?
yeah, I'm not really sure who they are. It's generally the county commissioners.
So this is the Rogers County Commissioners Educational Fund.
Rogers County Educational Facilities Authority. To be honest, I don't know who that's comprised of. It was before I got here.
Well, who do we run it to now? Of the other, is this our last bond? Because I know the commissioners have a quarterly meeting,
Okay.
and we get like the reserve at RSU, back behind RSU.
Yes.
They give us money out of that.
Okay.
And they call that their educational fund. They don't meet every week like they do, it's quarterly. That may be something different, but the commissioners do have that, because we have to go out, they present us with money.
So they don't, so the money doesn't come from the commissioners. This is money that comes from our taxpayers.
Yeah, I understand, but they call money like that they get out of there as
Okay.
the money. I mean, there's a fee for doing that.
Okay. So yeah, that may be the same group then.
I'll have to ask. I'll ask. When I seen this, I was curious. You know,
Not offhand, but this is Steve McDonald.
Yeah.
And I'm on the city, and I don't know that they're tied into RSU in that respect.
yeah, they only have like 3 or 4. Let me see. I just got a text on Facebook. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's something we got to do. So I will take a motion on item I.
I move that we approve the renewal of the sublease agreement dated January 1st, 2020 between the district and Rogers County Educational Facilities Authority for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 as required under the provisions of the agreement.
Second. Discussion. Vote please.
Yes.
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 Item I is approved. Section 5, personnel. Item A, proposed executive session to discuss resignations, hiring of personnel and/or extra duty assignments pursuant to 25 OS Section 307B1 and 7 of the Open Meeting Law. Items to be discussed are the resignations of Tanner Miller and Carrie Taylor, hiring of middle school science teacher, upper elementary teacher, 4th grade, high school teacher, upper elementary teacher, 5th grade, middle school special education teacher, high school alternative education teacher, upper elementary assistant principal, upper elementary teacher, 5th grade, extra duty contract, junior high head cheer coach, high school assistant football coach, high school assistant basketball coach. Sorry, yes, high school assistant baseball coach, thank you. Support salary schedule for the 2024-2025 school year, special education teacher salary for the 2024-2025 school year, and temporary certified teacher contracts for the 2023-2024 school year. Entertain a motion to go to executive session.
Move we move into executive session.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Let the record show in executive session. Sarah, thank you for coming in. Yeah, I don't like this. We don't like this.
Did you graduate your little brother?
Yes, same year.
I feel sorry for
Make
you.
sure.
Back to the agenda.
Sorry. Of course, we could sit in here and awkwardly not say anything to each other. We don't like each other. And we're back. Hello, buddy. All right, so under section 5 personnel, item B, vote to convene or not to convene. Oh, we've already done that. Item C, acknowledge the board has returned from executive session while we wait executive session while Blakely, Lynn Stoffer, Dr. Pius, Joe Coster, along with myself, Brett Kellogg, and Dr. David Wilkins. There were no votes taken, no action was taken. Item E, vote to accept or not accept student resignations as listed below for Tyler Miller, Oologah-Talala Elementary Assistant Principal, effective June 10, 2024, and Carrie Taylor, elementary teacher, effective end of the school year, she retired.
Make the motion that we accept the resignation as listed below.
Second motion.
Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Item E has been approved. Item F, motion and vote to employ or not employ recommended applicants for the position listed below for the 2024-2025 school year. You need to read them, or you just want to do them?
I'll do a recommendation. I would recommend for the middle school science teacher on a temporary contract would be Emily Allen. The upper elementary fourth grade teacher on a temporary contract would be Henry Forrest. The high school teacher on a temporary contract for the 2024-2025 school year would be Kevin Adler. The upper elementary teacher fifth grade on a temporary contract would be Jordan Logue. Middle school special education teacher on a temporary contract would be Stacy Streeter. High school alternative education teacher on a temporary contract would be Ryan Willard. And upper elementary assistant principal, Kylie Easterwood. And upper elementary teacher, fifth grade on a temporary contract would be Sean Johnson.
Entertain a motion on item F. As presented by the superintendent.
Move to employ the new hire list as presented.
Second.
Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Item F has been approved. Item G, motion and vote to approve or not approve extra duty assignment contracts as listed below. Head middle school cheer coach, high school junior high assistant football coach, high school assistant baseball coach, and a high school assistant football coach.
Recommend for middle school head cheer coach would be Chelsea Hotfeld. High school junior high assistant football coach and high school assistant baseball coach would be Kevin Adler. Recommend high school assistant football coach Ryan Willard.
I move that we approve the extra duty assignments contracts as presented by Dr. Wilkins.
Second.
Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Item G is approved. Item H, motion and vote on approving support salary schedule for the 2024-2025 school year.
Move to approve item H with the sports salary schedule as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Item H is approved. Item I, motion and vote on approving the special education above base percentage to 7%.
So it is currently at 5%. A lot of schools are around 1 to 7%. Recommend that we make that move also.
Is there a motion on item I?
I'll make the motion to approve the special education above base percentage to 7%.
Second.
Can we have discussion on that?
Yeah, we can.
First, talking about, does anybody have any questions? Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Item I is approved. Item J, motion and vote to accept temporary certified employee contracts for the 2023-2024 school year for the following: Brandy Frost and Jessica Fleet.
Make a motion to accept the temporary certified employee contract for the 23-24 school year for the following: Brandy Frost and Jessica Flagel.
Second motion.
Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Item J is approved. Item K, a motion to vote to approve the revised leave of absence for Randy Allen.
Move to approve the revised leave of absence for Brandy Allen.
Second. Vote please.
Yes.
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 Item 6 is new business. Is there any new business?
No new business.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Vote please.
Yes.
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 The record show. Please adjourn.